Guys, what's going on? Don Jr. here. Hope you're doing well. Crazy times, folks. Crazy times. But just want to make sure you guys understand what's at stake. Get out there and vote this election. If you get into line before the polls close, it doesn't matter if you have to wait in line for an hour. They'll let you vote. So if the polls close at 7 and you're in there by 7, even if you don't get to vote till 8 o'clock, you're good. You can do it. Just think of what's at stake right now. You could have Joe Biden, the most corrupted candidate in the history of the U.S. presidency, where you have social media, big tech, mainstream media covering for that kind of corruption. I mean, they would rather let that guy who could be bought and sold and paid for by every corrupt regime in the history of the world. You could have him be president right now. Or you could have Donald Trump, who's actually delivered results. I mean, think about it. Joe Biden, what's he done? Name a single accomplishment of his in 47 years. And if you don't have an accomplishment in 47 years, isn't that the problem? Isn't that what everything we hate about Washington, D.C.? Guys, this is just insanity. Let's put an end to this once and for all. You see all the games that the Democrats are playing. You see that they're trying to cheat. Get in line and vote. Don't take anything for granted. Don't assume that we have this. Don't assume anything. Don't assume that the mainstream media is being honest to you. You know, they may say, oh, the Republicans got this, just trying to drive down the voting and suppress that. You don't believe they're capable of doing that? Well, I do. And if you don't, you haven't been watching. You haven't been watching because that's what they've done with the Biden corruption. You have multiple examples. You have 1,000 times, you probably have 10,000 times the amount of evidence against Joe Biden and the Biden crime family than they ever had to start the Russia hoax, the collusion that they worked with Russian assets and spies to start. You have 1,000 times the evidence corroborated. You have the receipts. You have the hard drive. You have the emails. You have eyewitnesses. You have naval intelligence officers willing to say that, hey, I was in the room when Joe Biden got this information, and that, of course, Joe Biden's the big guy, and Hunter's holding it for it. Millions of dollars, the most corrupt regimes in the world. Notice how Hunter wasn't exactly doing business with, let's call it England or France. It was always these corrupt regimes, China, Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhstan. You guys honestly think that the spy chief of China hired Hunter Biden to be his lawyer because he's a good lawyer? I don't think so, folks. We've seen the pictures. I don't think so. He hired him because that got him close, that he could get the compromising information that we know the Chinese have, that they would utilize to pressure America if Joe Biden ever got into power. Do not allow this to happen. Donald Trump did amazing things. He created the strongest economy we've ever known. He created the lowest levels of unemployment for everyone, for African Americans, for women, for Hispanics, the highest level of new startup businesses for all of those same people. He took on and got done prison reform and opportunity zones and the First Step Act. He's pulling us out of the endless wars. These wars, Afghanistan, we're there 20 years later and our own generals can't tell us why we're there. But we know. They're there because they want a board seat at War Inc. That's their retirement package. They want that board seat at Raytheon. You only stay there if we spend our missiles there and we send trillions of dollars there. Donald Trump wants to bring our troops home, rebuild our military here, so if we need to use it, we are actually ready. Rather than building roads, bridges, and tunnels in Afghanistan, let's do that here in America so we can improve our infrastructure and put Americans to work. Donald Trump got peace deals done in the Middle East. I mean, the holy grail of geopolitical politics, and people refuse to even talk about it. He's taken on the big pharma guys that have bought and paid for every politician in D.C. for decades and for generations so that we can get consumer drug pricing down for ordinary American citizens. You know, people in Europe were buying American drugs for 10 cents on the dollar while we're gouging Americans, and my father said enough. What has Joe Biden done? What has he accomplished? All he is the camouflage to bring in the radical left, to bring in their ridiculous agenda. And make no mistake, Joe Biden's not a moderate. I know the media has been trying to sell that one to you with a straight face for a long time. But you're not a moderate with the positions that he's taken. You're not a moderate wanting to end oil and gas in America, end our energy independence. That doesn't just destroy those jobs in oil and gas. That would be an effective tax hike on every American when fuel prices would go through the roof, whether it be for your car. Remember when Joe Biden was last in office, fuel prices were about $5 a gallon. They're 2 now because we're energy independent. What that would do to your heating prices. The Democrats want to shut down our country. Donald Trump made you a promise. He said the fundamentals of this economy that he has created are strong. They will bounce back. We will get that V-shaped recovery, and we got it the other day. You saw that 33.1% GDP growth, the highest in American history. If we get the Democrats in there and they do one of their blanket random shutdowns again, you'll never recover. Hundreds of thousands of businesses will close their doors and never reopen. Millions of jobs will be lost forever. That will destroy our country. We cannot allow that to happen. But that's all the Democrats are offering. They don't care, I guess, because they'll say, hey, we'll put you on a government program. We'll take care of you. We'll put you on a government program. You'll be a Democrat voter for life. Do not allow these radicals to take over America. And again, that's all Joe Biden is. He's the radical. He's the camouflage to bring in that radical left. You're not a moderate with Kamala Harris as your VP. You're not a moderate with Beto O'Rourke as your guns are. You're not a moderate stealing and taking and assuming Bernie Sanders' radical leftist platform. But they want you to think that he is. We don't have the benefit of mainstream media out there campaigning for us, of big tech suppressing our enemies. They're doing that for the Biden campaign. I mean, think about that. They could allow the most corrupted candidate in the history of the U.S. presidency, someone who could be totally compromised by our greatest enemies, to become president, and they would allow that to happen. If you think that it's only the Second Amendment on this table, this election, you haven't been watching. Our fundamental rights, our First Amendment rights are on the table this election. Don't let the Democrats steal that from you. Once you lose those things, you do not get them back. So vote like your livelihood depends on it. Vote like our freedoms and our liberties and the values that we hold dear as Americans depend on it. This is not your grandparents' Democrat Party today. This Democrat Party doesn't represent the hardworking men and women of this country that they used to. They've abandoned those people to push their radical agenda, to push the 9,276 genders that are supposedly out there. Do not let those radicals take over and destroy our country. Once you lose those basic freedoms, you'll never get them back. If they win, and they can go on unchecked with big tech suppressing everything that they don't love, those California values that they want to hold so dear that destroyed those once great states, you never get it back, guys. So vote like your freedom depends on it. Get out there, get in line. Don't listen to the media. Don't take anything for chance. Once you're in line, stay there until your vote is cast. Do it now. Our country is worth fighting for. Our children are worth fighting for. Our freedoms are worth fighting for. Get out there. Let's win this thing big. Let's do it today. Don't let the gamesmanship come. You heard what the Pennsylvania Attorney General said. If it's close, we're just going to give it to Trump. They don't want signatures on absentee ballots to have to match the signature of the person that's supposed to be voting, that's on file. If they weren't planning on cheating, what could possibly be the reason for that? There is none. They're planning on doing whatever they can, so we need to win big tonight. Get out there, get in line, and vote like your future of your country depends on it, because it does. And it's worth fighting for. Thank you guys for everything. It's been incredible to be out there on the road with you these last few months. I mean, it's been incredible. Just the outpouring of support, the enthusiasm, the energy that we see on the ground. People excited that you finally have a president that's delivering for you, for your families, for our country. That's what this is all about, guys. Don't let Joe Biden, poor guy, can't even remember where the hell he is. I mean, it's such a joke. I'm watching the commentary that he's making today. He doesn't know where he is. They made him do 2 events a day for the last 2 days. That's too much for him. I was with my father at 3 a.m. last night, and we're talking about, his radio and TV hit starting at 5 a.m. I mean, he was going to get 90 minutes of sleep after doing 2 days of 10 rallies. It's a different level of energy, but it's that energy that my father has, that willingness to fight, to engage. That's why he's winning. That's why he's getting the unprecedented done. So get out there and fight for him. He didn't need this job, but he needs you to keep doing it. And it benefits us for him to keep doing it, because you've seen the results. So thank you all for the incredible support. Thank you all for the energy that you've put into this. It's been truly awesome. It just makes me proud to be an American. Let's get out there. Let's finish this thing tonight once and for all. Let's make the liberals understand. Let's send a message to them. Vote straight Republican down the ticket, because we need the House. We need the governor's races. We need the Senate, so that Donald Trump can get his agenda through without the nonsense and the gamesmanship that the Democrats have done. That's what's most impressive about Donald Trump, that he was able to get these things done despite the Democrats, despite the media, despite big tech, doing everything in their power to destroy him, to prevent him from having those successes. He got it done anyway. If we send them a message and a mandate today that says everything we need to know, let's get another 4 years without their obstructionist policies, without their nonsense, fighting for America. And there's no stopping us, guys. So thank you so much. It's been an honor. And I look forward to seeing some good news tonight, guys. Get out there and do it. Get in line. Vote, vote, vote. Call your friends. Text them. Hit them up on social. Make sure that everyone does that. Work east to west. You still got a long time to go on the West Coast. We need to win there too. Get out there and do it. Thank you, guys.